It's week 13 in the National Football League, and today I am answering your questions from all the latest topics in the National Football League. Right now, welcome into NFL Daily. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and make sure you click that subscribe button right now to join the most interactive NFL community here on YouTube. We got over 300,000 subscribers here at Chat Sports. Join our family today. Click that subscribe button. You can even get your questions on next week's mailbag. All right, now let's start with Lore here. He says, what should the Packers do if they lose to the Chiefs? So I'm not exactly sure what this question means. What should they do, right? They just got to continue to try to win, right? They just got to, they're right on the precipice here. They're just a half game out of the NFC playoff picture here. There's a couple of teams that are really knocking on the door here. Green Bay is one of them. The Los Angeles Rams are one of them, and the New Orleans Saints. All those guys are just a half game behind the Minnesota Vikings for that 7th spot in the NFC playoff picture. So if the Packers lose this weekend, they're far from out, right? So they just got to keep on winning. They got to keep trusting Jordan Love for the rest of the season. And then you just got to evaluate the quarterback position at the end of the year. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Jordan Love so far over the last 2 weeks. He's looked fantastic. Then we got one from Junior Estrada here. He says, NFL, or hashtag NFL, should the Patriots draft Drake Maye or Jayden Daniels? So as we sit right now, the New England Patriots sit at the number 3 overall spot in the 2024 NFL draft. So the Bears would be picking 1 because they have Carolina's pick. The number 2 is the Arizona Cardinals. And, I don't really think that we know what they're going to do when it comes to Kyler Murray. He's got a big contract. All these different things. They might want to restart with like a Drake Maye or a Caleb Williams, whoever doesn't go 1. But at the same time, Kyler is somebody that's been an MVP candidate in this league. Do they really want to get rid of that? So, the Patriots would certainly have an opportunity to draft probably either one of these guys. If I were the Bears at number 1, I would probably draft Caleb Williams. So, and then if the Cardinals don't take Maye, then I think you got to take Maye at number 3 personally. I think Jayden Daniels is a very intriguing prospect. He's going to be somebody that's going to be right there for the Heisman this year. But I think that Drake Maye is just such a polished quarterback prospect already. He's got the size, he's got the arm, he's got the mobility that you look for. I don't quite put Drake Maye in the same category of player as Caleb Williams at this point. But if you're somebody that doesn't like the attitude or the way that Caleb Williams approaches things, then Drake Maye might be your guy. And Drake Maye seems like a New England Patriot to me. So I would say Drake Maye. Then we got one from Mr. Incredible here. It says, where do you think Ben Johnson will go next year if he decides to leave Detroit? So we're actually going to be talking about this later in today's live show. But I think that Los Angeles, the Chargers, is going to be a really interesting one. Try saying no to Justin Herbert. That's all I'm going to say. The Buffalo Bills, if they fire Sean McDermott, let's say they miss the playoffs with that talented roster, I could see them going and getting Ben Johnson with Josh Allen as their quarterback. And maybe a dark horse here is Tampa Bay. They got some talent on the defensive side of the ball. They got some good receivers. I think that he would have the opportunity to draft his quarterback, the quarterback that he wants from this very loaded draft class if he becomes the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think he wants to go to like a Carolina. That's been the latest rumor. He said no to them last year. So I just don't understand what in the situation would have changed to make him change his mind there. I don't think he'll be in Carolina. But Tampa's one to look for, Los Angeles, and then also Buffalo, I think, are probably the favorites at this point. Now predict it for me down there in the comments section. Where will Ben Johnson be coaching next year? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Then we got one from Cameron here. It says, do you think 11-6 will be enough for the Bills to clinch a wild card spot if Dolphins clinch the East before week 18? Absolutely. Yes, 11-6 will get you there. 10-7 probably gets you there, right? I believe that the Miami Dolphins, correct me if I'm wrong here, but did the Dolphins make the playoffs at 9-8 last year? I'm pretty sure that they did. 10-7 is usually that benchmark to make the playoffs in the National Football League. So 11-6 would almost certainly get you there. But if you get to 10-7, even if you're the Bills, I think you get that 7 or 6 spot, especially with the Browns, right? The Browns are going to fall down a bit, I think, with Deshaun Watson out for the season and Joe Flacco stepping in. I just don't see that offense being too productive for the rest of the year. So the Bills certainly have an opportunity to step up their game here. And I actually do think the Bills will do this. I think the Bills will streak towards the end of the season, get on a good hot run here, and they're going to be a dangerous wild card team once we get to the playoffs this year. That's my prediction. All right, now coming up here, I got more NFL questions to break down with you guys. But first, check out our friends at Fanatics if you're looking for a brand new hat to represent your favorite ball club here in the National Football League. Go to chatsports.com/NFL hats to get your hat today. And listen, man, Fanatics, these guys got a bunch of different designs for all 32 NFL football teams. They got a style that you like, and they like this the brim style that you like as well. If you like it curved, if you like it flat, if you like it semi-flat, they got all these different types of styles for you guys to choose from. So if you're in need of a lucky hat to cheer on your favorite NFL team for the rest of this season, go to chatsports.com/NFL hats. They also make great gifts, guys, for Christmas. So if you got an NFL fan in your life that you think could use a new hat in their life, go to chatsports.com/NFL hats and get your new hat today. Then we got one from Vince here. He says, what should the Cardinals do in the draft if they end up with the first or second pick? Trade down, Marvin Harrison Jr., draft a quarterback, and trade Kyler Murray? So this is a really good question, Vince. I'm really glad that you asked this because I wanted to talk about this. And it's going to be tough to trade Kyler Murray, in my opinion. Next year, his cap hit, if he's traded for the team that trades for him, is going to be like $46 million. That's a lot of money, man. And I'm just not sure how many teams are going to want to put that level of investment in a quarterback that just had a major ACL tear, right? Especially somebody that relies on his legs. So is it even feasible for the Cardinals to trade him? I really don't know the answer to that question. I think it's going to depend on which teams are really looking for a new quarterback, how much money those teams have to spend on a quarterback, because $46 additional to your payroll is a lot of money. So if I'd have to guess right now, I would say that the Cardinals probably keep Kyler Murray and they draft Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State if they have the opportunity. The reason why I say that is that Marvin Harrison Jr., he is something else when it comes to a deep threat receiver. If you guys watched the Michigan-Ohio State game last weekend, I mean, goodness gracious, that one-handed catch while he's being dragged down to the dirt, I mean, the DPI, and he still comes down with the catch. I mean, that's what he can do for Kyler Murray. And Kyler's got one of the best deep balls in the National Football League, and I just think that combination could be for Kyler what his combination with DeAndre Hopkins was for so many years. And really, if you're a guy like Kyler who likes to throw outside the numbers, not so much over the middle, you need a dominant outside receiver like DeAndre Hopkins, like a Marvin Harrison Jr. So if I'm the Cardinals and I have an opportunity to get Maserati Marv in a Cardinals uniform, I'm pulling the trigger and I'm bringing him to the desert. Now we got a question from Jim Carrey Fan here. It says, are the Steelers for real or are they frauds? So right now the Pittsburgh Steelers sitting at 7-4, number 5 seed in the AFC playoff picture. And they just beat the Cincinnati Bengals 16-10 and just put up their first 400-plus yard performance since 2020. So they just fired their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, and immediately this offense looks like a really good offense again. I mean, the run game was going. Jaylen Warren is a young stud. Najee Harris had a nice week last week. Kenny Pickett was throwing darts down the field to guys like Pat Freiermuth, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson. So Steelers fans, and I know this because I'm the Steelers host here, Steelers fans are feeling extremely optimistic for the rest of this season. But you look at the aggregate numbers right now, and the Steelers really are ranking pretty low in the offensive category. So this is what I'll say right now. I think that the Steelers need to prove themselves over the next couple weeks to kind of prove that last week against the Bengals, it wasn't just a flash in the pan. But I actually think that they're for real, man. Mike Tomlin's one of the best head coaches in the league right now, in my opinion. The defense hasn't given up more than 20 points since week 4. So this defense is rolling. And then also, with Matt Canada gone, that offense can at least be league average now, right? Or at least a little bit below average. And I do think that the Steelers, with their ability to win close games, I think that they're a playoff team. And they're arguably a borderline top 10 team in the National Football League if this offense continues to improve with Matt Canada out of the picture. But let me know what you guys think about the Pittsburgh Steelers down there in the comments section. Are they for real or are they frauds? Type R if you think that they're real, or type F if you think that they're frauds and they'll fizzle out. Another question from Vince says, do you think that the Steelers or Texans can make some noise in January if they add J.J. Watt? So I don't think J.J. Watt's coming back, man. As the Steelers host here, I've done a lot of videos that have done really well on our Steelers channel in regards to J.J. Watt potentially coming back. But it really does seem like J.J. is content in retirement. And I really don't think that he would come back unless, T.J. Watt got hurt or some big name got hurt and he just really felt that itch. But I don't see that happening personally. I think if he comes back, he's going to play for the Steelers, not the Texans, because I think he would want to play with his brother. And he said himself, he's a full-blown Yinzer now. He's a full-blown Steelers fan. So I think that he would want to play for Mike Tomlin, play in a new city. So if he comes back, I do think it's the Steelers. But if you're asking me if I think he comes back, I would have to say no. Then we got one from Not Dana White here. It says, in your opinion, is Caleb Williams or Drake Maye the best quarterback in the 2024 NFL draft? Now, I think I'm going to say Caleb Williams here, but I will have a little bit of a caveat here. Caleb Williams, in terms of on-field stuff and just the way that he plays football, he's the best quarterback prospect I've ever seen on film as an NFL draft evaluator. Better than Trevor Lawrence. He's right up there with Joe Burrow. His grade is going to be just about as high as I give a person in terms of on-field talent. He's got incredible footwork. He can see the field. He can make full field progressions. He's generally accurate. He can throw it 70 yards. He can throw it from any arm angle. He's an incredible playmaker. He can run with the football. There's nothing on the football field that Caleb Williams can't do. But the negative on Caleb Williams is the personality. He kind of reminds me of like Bo Callahan, if you guys have watched the movie Draft Day, where he's incredibly talented, but like he's the type of guy where his teammates won't go to his birthday party, right? And it's just, is that a deal breaker for some of these teams or not? Are you okay with a guy that's probably not going to be a true leader in your locker room if he is a Mahomes-type talent? Or do you want to go with more of the traditional leader-type quarterback in Drake Maye, who's really good in his own right? He's still good in the pocket. He has good footwork. He's generally accurate. He's got a big arm. He's still mobile, and he's by what I've heard, a stand-up gentleman. So it really does depend what your flavor is. For me, if I have to just go based on what the film says, Caleb Williams is the superior quarterback. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Caleb Williams or Drake Maye? If you had the choice between the two, which one are you taking? Type CW for Caleb Williams or DM for Drake Maye. And that'll be it for this week's mailbag, guys. Really do appreciate every single one of you that stuck with me to the end. Make sure you click that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and join us for NFL Daily Live on Thursdays to potentially get your question on next week's mailbag.